Senator Urquhart.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I rise on the motion to take note of the answers given by Minister Wong on the government's Clean Energy Future package. As much as those opposite want it, climate change is an issue that is not going to go away. It cannot be chased away simply by the scaremongering of those opposite. Their current scare campaign is focused on power price rises and trying to do their bit to discredit the professional price estimates conducted by the independent utility regulators in each state. For example, the New South Wales pricing regulator estimates that the typical small business customer used for each of the 3 New South Wales networks would be less than $5 a week. The Council of Small Business of Australia has confirmed that the impact on small business consumers will be about $5 per week. However, the government is still committed to assisting small businesses through a range of measures, including $27.5 million to extend the highly successful Small Business Advisory Service program for a further 4 years, allowing incorporated small businesses to carry back up to $1 million worth of losses to get a refund of tax paid in the previous year. And the small business instant asset write-off will increase from $1,000 to $6,500 from 2012-13. This will improve cash flow for small business operators and provide additional incentives for investment and productivity improvements. As part of the Clean Energy Future package, the government has tasked and resourced the ACCC to investigate and take action against businesses that make false or misleading claims about the impact of carbon pricing on their prices. Those opposite have spent a good while scaremongering that the forecast electricity prices are wrong and that electricity prices will rise by exorbitant amounts under a carbon price. Well, on the 12th of June 2012, the chairman of the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, Mr Rod Sims, said he could not see any circumstances where an average small business would have a carbon-related price increase of anything like 25%. One thing is absolutely clear: it is in Australia's long-term national interest to deal with climate change. In this chamber, we have heard for many years from Minister Wong, as well as many others on this side of the chamber, and even some on those opposite, about the positives of using an emissions trading scheme in tackling climate change. At the core of our emissions trading scheme is a cap on no carbon pollution. The cap will guarantee reductions in carbon pollution and allow us to achieve our long-term goal of an 80% reduction from the 2000 levels by 2050. That is 17 billion tonnes of carbon pollution out of the atmosphere between now and 2050. This Gillard Labor government is committed to a smooth transition and will use all of the revenue to support households, to invest in a clean energy future and climate change programs, and to support jobs and competitiveness in energy-intensive programs. For households, there will be tax cuts, increases in family payments and higher pensions, benefits and other government allowances. 9 out of 10 households are receiving assistance or will soon receive assistance through tax cuts and or payment increases through the transfer system. Treasury price increase estimates, which formed the basis for the household assistance package, have recently been found to overestimate the price increases in 5 of 6 jurisdictions where information is available. In my home state of Tasmania, electricity prices were estimated to rise by 9%, but consultants for the Tasmanian Electricity Pricing Regulator has claimed that this rise will only be 6.5%. This is well below the forecast and therefore provides extra assistance to Tasmanian households. This is a reform that requires this parliament to look at the longer term and not just the short-term politics. It is unfortunate that those opposite are led by a politician who will only ever look to what he believes is a short-term political advantage. Most of those opposite have publicly expressed a belief that we need to act on climate change and that supporting an emissions trading scheme was the way forward, until they thought the politics had shifted, until they sought a short-term advantage over the nation's long-term prosperity. It isn't too late to put the nation's long-term interest and shelve your short-term political interest. It isn't too late to realise that your policy and our policy are both to reduce emissions by 5% in 2020. It isn't too late to realise that climate change won't be solved in 2020 and we need a long-term plan to deal with the costs of pollution. It isn't too late to do what is right for our grandchildren.